So considering deflection part, so we have some of the chapters. So importance of control of deflections, factors influencing deflections, short-term deflection of uncracked beams, prediction of long-term deflections, IS code requirements. Okay, IS code requirements. So these are all the topics in deflection. So first, so what is meant by deflection? So mainly deflection occurs in slab and beams. Okay. So deflection is nothing but it is the phenomena of bending. Okay. So how we can see bending? Suppose a slab is there. I'm saying this slab or beam is bend. Okay. How I identify? Through deflection only. Okay. Suppose the deflection is 0 means there is no bend. Okay. There is no bend in the slab or beam. Okay. So mainly deflections occurs in a flexural member only. What is by flexural member? So suppose if you take slab, if you take beam, so these are all called flexural members. Okay, flexural members. So whenever both compression and the tension occurs in a member, both compression and the tension occurs in a member, that member is called flexural member. Okay, so the deflection of a flexural member is calculated to satisfy the limit state of serviceability, since a precious concrete member is smaller in depth than an equivalent reinforced concrete member. So the deflection of a precious concrete member tends to be larger. Okay. See, normally in case of if you take RCC sections, RCC beams, how to reduce the deflection? So whenever we have to increase the depth of the beam, automatically the deflection will be less. Okay. But in case of precious concrete member compared to RCC member, the precious concrete member size is very much reduced. Okay. It is very, very less. So automatically the deflection is more. This is the general concept. Okay. So the total deflection is a resultant of the upward deflection due to precessing force and the downward deflection due to gravity loads. Okay. See, normally in case of RCC member, only one deflection occurs in only one direction. Which direction? Due to gravity, the deflection is acting only in downward direction. But in case of pre-stressed concrete members, due to the pre-stressing force, with some eccentricity, the deflection occurs upward. That means the beam bends upward, not downward. It is opposite to gravitation, opposite to gravitational force, because due to high amount of precessing force, it will bend upward. So deflection is in upward direction, not in downward direction. If you consider only precessing force, suppose if you consider both precessing force as well as downward load, that means live load, dead load, if you considering means the resultant deflection is downward. Okay, so please be remember, in deflection, this is the main important point. If only precessing force occurs, okay, plus self height, precessing force plus self height means the beam deflection is upward, the beam bends upward. Okay, so self height, precessing force and external live load is acting means the beam bends downward as usual, as per your RCC set. Okay, so this is the very, very important point in the design of the member while calculating the deflection. In problems we can see. Okay, only the flexural deformation is considered and any shear deformation is neglected in the calculation of deflection. Okay, so obviously, okay, shear they can't produce any deflection. Okay, only flexural behavior of the member only produce some deflection. Okay, so the deflection of a member, especially for prestressed concrete member is calculated at least for two cases. Okay, first one is short-term deflection at transfer. Okay, short-term deflection at transfer. Long-term deflection under service load. Okay, so short-term deflection at transfer in the sense, so during the pre-stressing force, application of the pre-stressing force, the beam bends upward. That is called short-term deflection. Short-term deflection means very less period. That means during the pre-stressing application of pre-stressing force. Okay. Next, short-term deflection at transfer is due to the pre-stressing force before long-term losses and self-weight. The effect of creep and shrinkage of concrete are not considered. Okay. So short-term deflections mainly due to the application of pre-stressing force. So here creep and shrinkage is not considered. Okay. Coming to long-term deflection, long-term deflection under service loads is due to the effective pre-stressing force after long-term losses. Under the gravity loads. The permanent components of the gravity loads are considered in the effect of creep. These components are dead load and sustained live load. So in case of long-term deflection, that means after completion of the project, if you take 1 year or 2 years, the deflection will occur. Deflection will be more in prestressed concrete. So due to this external live load, dead load, pre-stressing force, and mainly due to creep. Okay, so these are the main causes of long-term deflection. Okay. So next, deflection due to gravity loads. Okay, deflection due to gravity loads. So normally we studied how to calculate deflection in strength of materials 2, I think. Okay. So suppose a cantilever beam is there, a simply supported beam is there. Due to the self-weight, that means under live load, external load, point load, UDL load. Based on this load, how to calculate deflection? There are a number of steps are there. Number of different methods are there. A double integration method, moment area method, conjugate beam method, McCullough's method, unit load method, or otherwise called principles of virtual work method. So these are all the different methods are there to find out the deflection due to gravity loads. Okay, so here we have to consider two things. First one is deflection due to gravity load. Gravity load in the sense deflection due to downward load. Second thing is deflection due to pre-stressing force. Deflection due to pre-stressing force. That means upward deflection. Okay, the total deflection is nothing but the summation of deflection due to gravity loads and deflection due to pre-stressing force. Okay, so these are all these methods used for calculation of deflection due to gravity loads. So you can see here the expression of deflection for a few cases are provided. So I is equal to moment of inertia, E is equal to modulus of velocity of concrete. So in case of a simply supported beam carries UDL load throughout. What is the deflection formula? It is pi by 384 WL power 4 divided by EA. W is the UDL load per meter. Okay, so this is the deflection at the center. Okay, maximum deflection. So delta is deflection equal to 5 by 384 WL power 4 divided by EA. Okay, next, if the beam carries point load, what is the deflection? PL cube divided by 48 EA. Students, please be remember this deflection, we have to use this type of formula. We have to use only for deflection due to dead load and deflection due to live load only, not for pre-stressing force. Okay. So these are all the fundamentals formulas that we already know. So in case of cantilever beam, so delta is equal to WL power 4 divided by 88 and carries UDL load. The formula WL power 4 divided by 88. So if the beam carries point load at the free end, means the deflection equal to PL cube divided by EA. P is the point load. It may be P or W. PL cube divided by 3A. So these are all the fundamentals formula. So these are the fundamentals formula for calculation of deflection. Directly we can do using this formula. We can easily find it. Next, deflection due to precessing force. So how to calculate? So these are all the newest one. So before that deflection formula we already studied, but these are all the newest one. The precessing force causes a deflection only if the CGS, what in by CGS? See, CGS is nothing but centroidal center of gravity of the section is eccentric to the center of gravity of the cable. CGC means cable. Okay. The deflection due to precessing force is calculated by the load balancing method. So what in by load balancing method? Load balancing method we already studied in unit 3. Okay. We've seen 3 types of analysis: stress concept, strength concept, load balancing concept. So for calculation of upward deflection, this load balancing methods are used. Okay. The upward thrust and upward deflection, also called camber. The upward deflection are also called camber and is represented by delta P. Due to the precessing forces in typical profile of the tendons are reproduced here. Okay. So here you can see, students. So a precessing beam having parabolic cable, the upward deflection formula is equal to 5 by 384 WUP L power 4 divided by EA. Since it is a UDL load, you can see UDL load. Okay, so same formula we can use. If a simply supported beam carries UDL, means what is the formula? W 5 by 384 into WL power 4 divided by EA. Same formula we have to use. But in case of upward, okay. So WP, how to calculate this UDL load? This also we already seen in that load balancing concept. It is 8 PE divided by L square. Okay. So P is the precessing force, E is the eccentricity, and L is the length of the beam. L is the length of the beam. Okay. So these are all the formula. Okay. First we have to calculate WUP. W mean upward load. Okay. And after that we have to easily find it using the formula deflection. Okay. Next come to a single point load acting at center. Okay. So we know the formula is simply supported beam carries point load at center. What is the formula? WL power 4 L cube divided by 48 EA. Okay. So W upward is equal to 4 PE divided by L. This is the formula for upward load. Next, for in case of double point load is acting. Double point load is acting means W upward formula is PE divided by AL. AL is the distance of the point load from the support. Next, deflection at deflection due to precessing force. Maximum deflection equal to A into 3 minus 4A square into W upward L cube divided by 24 EA. Okay, students, please be remember these formulas are not available in IS code. You have to remember. Okay, next come to total deflection. Okay, total deflection is nothing but the summation of short-term deflection and long-term deflection. Short-term deflection and long-term deflection. So short-term deflection is nothing but a transfer, long-term deflection under service loads. Okay, so these are all the basic concept for the analysis of deflection in case of precise concrete beam. So first we have to calculate short-term deflection. After that, long-term deflection under service loads. Okay. Okay, what IS 1343 code says about deflection. So this slide is very much important because we have to check the deflection, maximum deflection according to maximum deflection in the sense permissible deflection according to IS 1343 code. Okay, let us see. So if you take IS 1343 code in class 20.3.1, 20.3.1 limit state of serviceability deflection. Okay, if you take in your code book means it is available. Okay, the deflection of a structure or part thereof shall not adversely affect the appearance or functional requirements of the structure or finishes or partitions. Okay, the deflection shall generally be limited to the following. Okay, so first clearly understand what they are saying. So the deflection of a structure or part thereof shall not adversely affect the appearance or functional requirements of the structure. See, deflection we can't neglect. Always, if we take any flexural members, a slab or beam, any flexural member, deflection will occur. But the deflection should not affect the appearance or functional requirements of the structure. It should not affect the, it should not produce any crack. It should not produce appearance of the structure. So that means the deflection should be very, very minimum. Okay. So that deflection shall be generally limited to the following. There are three important points recommended by IS 1343 code. Okay. The final deflection due to all loads, including the effects of temperature, creep, and shrinkage, and measured from the as cast level of the supports of floors, roofs, and all other horizontal members, should not normally exceed span by 250. So normally we are measuring deflection in mm, isn't it? Okay, normally we are measuring deflection in mm. So the maximum deflection, that means final deflection, is nothing but the summation of all the deflection, that means short term as well as long term deflection, is limited to span by 250. Span by 250. So what is the span by 250? Suppose span is nothing but span of the flexural member. In case of we take beam, suppose the span is 10 meter. Okay, first you convert it into mm. So 10 into 10 power 3 divided by 250. How much? 40 mm. 40 mm. So the maximum permissible limit for the beam, okay, deflection for the beam is 40 mm. Okay. So next, coming to second point, the deflection including the effect of temperature, creep, and shrinkage occurring after erection of partitions and the application of finishes. So here, what is the difference between first point and second point? First point mentioned final deflection, that means short-term deflection and long-term deflection. Okay. The second point, B point, mentioned only long-term deflection. Only long-term deflection. Okay. So for that long-term deflection, the maximum permissible limit is span by 350 or 20 mm, whichever is less. Whichever is less. Okay. So span by 350 or 20 mm, whichever is less. Okay. Suppose the beam having 10 meter. So span by 350, how much? 28.57 mm. So 10,000 divided by 350, we get 28.57 mm or 20 mm. Now tell me which one is least? 20 mm only. Okay, so the permissible limit is 20 mm. So next come to third point. If finishes are to be applied to precise concrete members, the total upward deflection should not exceed span by 300. So upward deflection is nothing but short-term deflection, because upward deflection mainly occurs due to precessing force. It is a short-term deflection. Okay, so that short-term deflection should not exceed span by 300 unless uniformity of camber between adjacent units can be ensured. Okay, so these are all the three important parameters. Okay, this IS 1343 code specifies. So the first point is very much important. So we will use mainly this first point, okay, in our problems. So maximum permissible limit of deflection in case of precise concrete member is span by 250. That's all. Okay. So now we will see in the code book. So in code book, page number 29, in code book, IS 1343 code book, page number 29. So we have class 20.3, limit state of serviceability. Okay. So in case of 20.3.1, limit state of serviceability, we got number of serviceabilities there. So deflection is the major one. Okay. So you can see here, they clearly mentioned whatever we discussed in this topic, they clearly mentioned. You can see that 3 points. Okay. So under this structural design limit state method. So in page number 29, they clearly mentioned these 3 points. So while during examination, you can refer this from the code book. Okay. So next, coming to next parameter, factors influencing deflection. Okay. So students, normally in case of RCC beam, what are the factors influencing deflection? So mainly the load. In case of RCC, I'm telling mainly the load and grade of concrete, grade of steel. Okay, these are the major thing. But in case of precise concrete flexural member, these are all the following important factors. Okay. So there are 6 to 7 important points are there. So let us say one by one. Factors influencing deflection. This is very, very important question. If in examination they will ask theory means, this question is the definite question. Okay. So first point, applied load including self height of the beam. So here applied load in the sense live load. Okay. And self height in the sense dead load. So live load and dead load is the major parameter. Okay, live load and dead load are the major parameter for the main influencing of deflection. This is the major point. So that it is the first point. Next, magnitude of precessing force. Magnitude in the sense amount of precessing force. Okay. So if precessing force higher means the deflection, upward deflection is more. Okay. So next, cable profile. Cable profile in the sense whether the cables are straight or parabolic. Okay. So compared to straight cable, parabolic cable resist more deflection. Okay. Next, models of elasticity of concrete. Models of elasticity of concrete. Okay. Next, second moment of area of the section. Second moment of area of the section. Second moment of area is nothing but moment of inertia of the section. Okay. So here also, if depth of the beam increases, deflection also get reduced. Next, span of the member. Definitely, if span is more means deflection also more. Next, fixity condition. Fixity is nothing but the support condition. Okay. Normally, 99% the precise concrete members are simply supported only, because so we already know most of the precise post tension or pre-tension precise concrete members are cast, and after that cast in ground. After that they are lifted and they placed in the subsequent places. Okay. So only simply supported condition only achieved. Okay, so that is our fixity condition. Next, shrinkage, creep, and relaxation. What do you mean by shrinkage? Shrinkage is nothing but reduction in volume. Okay, reduction in value. So due to that climatic condition and the property of the concrete, there will be a reduction in the volume. That is called shrinkage. What is by creep? Creep is nothing but deformation due to sustained load. Suppose if you take a bubble gum, okay, placed in a ceiling, okay, placed in a ceiling, we didn't apply any load on that bubble gum. Okay, so after 1 hour, 2 hour, what happened? So you can see the deflection is more in that bubble gum. So linearly downward direction, it makes more deformation. We didn't apply any load, even though deformation occurs. That is called creep. In concrete structure also, this type of deformation occurs. Okay, if you not apply any load due to the long term of the structure, there will be a deformation occurs. That is called creep. Okay, next, relaxation of steel stresses. So due to that long term, there will be a relaxation in the stresses happen in that pre-stressing cable or pre-stressing tendons or pre-stressing wires. Okay, so initially if you are applying in that pre-stressing cable around 1000 to 50 Newton per mm square, later on it gets ready, it comes to 1000 Newton per mm square. While applying a transfer, that means at initial while applying it is 1250 Newton per mm square, right? Later on it's come to 1000 Newton per mm square. Okay, so this is due to the relaxation of steel stresses. Okay, so if in the examination they asked this question, means you have to elaborate each point. Don't write only these headings, you have to elaborate all the points. So students, please be remember, this is definite question, 100% I'm sure. So in syllabus also they clearly mention. So applied load including sulfide, magnitude of precessing force or amount of precessing force, cable profile, models of velocity of concrete, second moment of area of the section, span of the member, fixity condition, shrinkage, creep, and relaxation of steel stresses. Okay. Next, effect of tendon profile. Okay. Effect of tendon profile is nothing but cable profile only. Suppose if the cable is straight, means some deflection occurs. Suppose the cable is parabolic, means the deflection is different. Okay, so let us see. Due to the applied loads on sulfide, the pre-stressed concrete beam deflects downwards. Okay, the pre-stress makes the beam to deflect upwards. This is called camber. This is called camber. As the bending moment is the product of the pre-stressing force and the eccentricity, the bending moment diagrams reflect the shape of the tendon profile. This is very, very important. So the upward deflection or downward deflection, whatever may be, it depends upon the bending moment diagram of the flexural member. Okay, so the deflection due to pre-stress alone can be computed by two methods. The first method is take the concrete cross section as a free body analysis using the system of forces acting on the concrete. In the second method, a bending moment diagram produced by the tendons is drawn. The deflection can be computed from the moment area method. So first, there are two methods. First method is to take the concrete cross section as a free body analysis using the system of forces on the concrete. Okay. Second method, we have to draw the bending moment diagram. From the bending moment diagram, we have to apply the moment area method. That means AX bar divided by EA. Moment area method. From that, we can easily calculate the deflection. Okay. So now let us see the you can see the tendon profile. So consider the first diagram is a straight tendon. Suppose a straight tendon is occurs. What is the deflection formula? So consider a precious concrete beam with a straight tendon as shown in figure. Okay, so this is the cross section of the beam. So you can see the precessing force applied. Precessing force is applied in a some eccentricity. So it is a simply supported beam. Okay, so this is the bending moment diagram. B diagram is the bending moment diagram. Okay, what is the bending moment value? Force into perpendicular distance. So P into E, force into perpendicular distance is E. So in this simply supported beam, a precessing force is applied in some eccentricity. So the bending moment is M. So M is equal to P into E. Okay, this P into E, force into perpendicular distance, is nothing but M. So minus M divided by EA. Okay, since it is upward one, upward bending moment, so minus. Okay, so from this, how to calculate, apply the moment area method, find out the deflection at center. Okay, that you can see the Morse second theorem states that tangential deviation at any point on a smooth continuous elastic curve from the tangent line drawn to elastic curve at another point is equal to the moment about reference point under M divided by EA diagrams between 2 points. Okay, so here you can see we have to take only, we need at midpoint only, deflection at midpoint. So consider only left point or right point. Okay, so now apply the moment area method. Okay, so what is the formula? A x bar divided by EA. What is area? Area of this, half of this portion, only half. I am considering only left side. Okay, area of this portion. So PE divided by EI, this is the height, and L by 2, this is the area. And the corresponding centroid is, this distance is L by 2. This distance is L by 2. And the centroid is from here to here. It is L by 2 divided by 2. L by 2 divided by 2. Okay. So this theorem is up, you can see here, whatever we discussed here. So first we have to calculate area, PE divided by EI into L by 2. This is the rectangular area, and the corresponding centroid is L by 2 divided by 2. So for the divided by 2 only, they mentioned 1 by 2. So therefore, deflection at P is equal to minus PE L square divided by 8 EI. Okay. So this theorem is applied to evaluate the upward deflection due to the precessing force. As the beam is symmetrically loaded, the slope of the line at the tangent to the elastic curve at midspan is 0. That means delta C is 0. So obviously, in a simply supported beam, deflection maximum at center. At that point, slope is 0. Okay, the tangent C is horizontal. Hence, delta P is equal to TAC, where TAC is the tangential deviation equals to the moment about A of the rectangular area under M divided by EA diagram. So, so don't be confused. So simply use this formula, delta equal to A x bar divided by EA. That's all. Ax bar divided by EA. So just apply this formula. This EA value already mentioned here. Okay, so don't put again. So only calculate A x bar, area of the bending moment diagram, and x bar distance, corresponding distance, where we want the deflection. That's all. Okay, so this is for straight tendon. Next come to parabolic tendon. So in this parabolic tendon, you can see here, precessing force is applied at the center of the cross section of the beam and having some eccentricity E. So this is the bending moment diagram. This is the bending moment diagram. So same formula you apply and you can easily get the answer. So this, since it is the parabolic curvature, so what is the bending moment area of bending moment diagram? So it is 2/3 of L by 2 into PE divided by EA. This is the area. So the corresponding centroid is 5 by 8 of L by 2. 5 by 8 of L by 2. Okay. So consider only of this portion. So this area, this portion area is 2/3 of L by 2 into PA. L by 2 is the breadth, PE divided by IA is the height. And the corresponding centroid distance from here to here. Here to here is 5 by 8 into L by 2. Okay. So from this, deflection equal to minus 5 by 48 PE L square divided by EA. Okay. So just simple. First, while we are using moment area method means, moment area method is the simplest method for calculating the deflection. So for that purpose only, we are using this moment area method. Okay. So next, coming to parabolic tendon, eccentric anchor. Eccentric anchor in the sense, you can see, you can identify, before that, this pre-stressing cable is located exactly center of the cross section. Okay, center of the cross section, but it is not in center. So at support itself, they have some eccentricity, and at middle some eccentricity. So there are two eccentricities is there. One is at supports E2 and other one is E1. But you can see in previous cases, there is no eccentricity at the supports. Okay, the applied pre-stressing force cable and that cross section of the beam both are lies in same point. But here it is not so. Okay, here some eccentricity is there, E2. Okay, so for that, this is the bending moment diagram, and as per the bending moment diagram, you calculate the, you can easily calculate the value. Okay, deflection value. So delta P is equal to P E2 L square divided by 8 EA minus 5 P divided by 48 EA E plus E2 L square. Okay, you can simplify. Finally, you got delta P. Delta P is nothing but deflection at center. And P is nothing but pre-stressing force. P L square divided by 48 EA into minus 5 E1 plus E2. Okay, this is the formula for parabolic tendon having eccentric anchors. Okay, next, sloping tendon. See, sloping tendon is nothing but like this. A straight tendon, but somewhat slope at support as well as at middle. Okay, so under this is the formula and calculations, and finally formula, this one. Okay, students, that formula derivation and all is not important, only the formula is important. So under this condition, this is the bending moment diagram, it is the triangle one, and from this calculate, consider only the left part or right part, whatever may be your choice, and from that apply AX bar divided by EA formula, you got PL square divided by 24 EA into minus 2 E1 plus E2. This is the formula. Okay. So next, come to trapezoidal tendons. So you can see here trapezoidal tendons. Okay. So under this trapezoidal tendons, the bending moment also here trapezoidal one. The bending moment also here trapezoidal one. Okay. So there are two types of shapes are there. First one is, you can see here triangle shape is there, and here rectangle shape is there. Okay, so from that you can easily find the deflection at midspan is minus 0.958 PE A square divided by A. Otherwise you can use this one. Okay, so whatever maybe you can use. So minus 0.958 PE A square divided by EA. This is the formula. Okay. So next come to parabolic and straight tendon. If you come to see in this diagram, there will be a parabolic tendon is there up to some distance, and there will be a straight tendon also there. So same like bending moment diagram also. You can see the bending moment diagram. Some portion is parabolic and some portion is straight. Okay. So from this, the formula is deflection equal to minus PE divided by 12EA into 5A square divided by 12AB plus 6B square. This is the formula. Students, please be remember these formulas and all not available in your code book. So you have to remember. You have to mark up. Okay. Next, parabolic and straight tendon, eccentric anchor. Okay. So here there is no eccentricity in the anchorage end, in the support end. Okay. So, but come to next one. You can see next category is there will be eccentricities there in that cable. Okay. So there will be E1 and E2. From this bending moment diagram, you can calculate the deflection formula. You can see deflection formula is minus P E1 plus E2 divided by 12EA into 5A square plus 12AB plus 6B square plus P E2 L square divided by 8EA. Okay, students. So these are all the different classes, different categories of the